welcome to Deadly Dames, and we're back for another Halloween challenge. So we're on to K and L. So earlier on I'd said I'd already watched K, so it was just L that I needed to get through. And then I'm moving on to M and N, and they're both international movies, so I'm going to have to try and keep my eyeballs peeled open to read the subtitles. Now the first thing I'm going to say is that the killing of Sister George isn't actually a horror film. Now, the reason why I've included it in this is because I thought it was a horror film. Basically, a few years ago I went to, I think it was Film and Comic Con, bumped into Strange Vice, who I always chat to, and I don't know how, but we got into the topic of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and I was saying how much I love that movie, and it's an iconic film. And they recommended this movie, which is by the same guy. Now, in my mind, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing the cover, looks quite sinister, the title, the certificate. I read the storyline on the back, and the whole thing screams horror film. But it was 2 hours and 20 minutes, this movie. It was an excellent film, I'm not going to lie, but it wasn't really, well, I suppose you could class A Mental Breakdown as a horror film, and Abusive Relationship as a horror film, but it was more like A Streetcar Named Desire than anything else. Basically, I thought this film was going to be more like Single White Female or Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, something like that. But I can understand why it's an 18. It's probably just not been reclassified or recertified, sorry, in years, and that's why it's still got an 18 on it. But for the time, I can understand why it was an 18, because it was made in 1968. Basically, the film is about an actress who's in a daytime TV show. Now, she's an aging actress, so I'm going to guess that she's maybe late 60s in this. I might be wrong, but they've kind of made her look, as I'd describe, as a granny. Like the shape and the body size, but she's an alcoholic, and she's got a really bad temper, and she's paranoid, and she's obsessive and jealous. But the worst thing about this is that, and it's not a bad thing actually, that it's her personality I'm meaning, is that she's all of those things, but she's also extremely funny, and she's extremely human, so it's easy to identify with her. So the actress playing Sister George in this, that's her character from the TV show that she's been playing for years, and she's loved by the fans. And basically she's obsessed with the idea that she's going to get written off the show, and her actions kind of lead to that. But the reason why I think this movie was classified as an 18 back in 1968 was because she's actually a lesbian, and she's got a much younger woman that stays at home with her. Now, she's extremely abusive over that woman. In one particular scene, she actually makes her eat her cigar butt as punishment for daring to talk back to her. But in some ways, they love each other. It's very, very weird. It's brilliantly acted. And then throughout this crazy, abusive, poisonous love, in comes this producer of the TV show that she's part of, who falls for the younger woman and pretty much wants to take her away from the actress character George. And it all becomes like a kind of twisted intertwining of three people. Because George, that's what they call the character in it, George, and then Childy's the lover, and what is the Mercy is the boss. So, but the way it's done and the way that it's acted and things, it is very dark, but at the same time the character of George is extremely funny with the things that she says. She says things in this movie that you would love to say to people if you could get away with it. As I said, it is a bit deceiving, because I genuinely, when I read the back and looked at the picture, seen the certificate, the title, I thought, oh, this could be a horror film, maybe like a kind of giallo feel, or more of a thriller type murder mystery, but it wasn't. It was still a really, really good movie, and definitely if you're like a fan of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane or Streetcar Named Desire, that type of film, then this is definitely a good film to watch. I do hope that this gets a better release than this one, because I would definitely pick it up. This isn't the most, but this certainly isn't a great DVD version. It's from Prism Entertainment, so that Prism Leisure Entertainment, sorry. So that certainly tells you the quality of this. But I'm glad that I actually did get to see it, because it was definitely a movie worth watching. It is extremely long, but it was only near the end that I started to feel it was that long, because it was on that late and I was starting to like having to hold my eyeballs open to actually see the end of it. But yeah, it was a really good movie. I'm not sure I'm going to hang on to the DVD. I think I will probably trade it in and then hope that a Blu-ray comes out. Although I've done that before and regretted it. I don't know, you let me know. But glad that I actually got to watch this film. Isn't a horror film, but was still really good to watch. I suppose in a way it was the horror of human weakness and human emotion. There we are, so I'll classify it that way. And then the second film for Elle was Lesson of Evil. Now this is a Third Window Films. I don't even know what Third Worm was. I have watched too many movies today. But they're a really good company. They release a lot of international movies, a lot of Korean and Japanese, and this is a Takeshi, I cannot speak, sorry, Takeshi Miike is what I'm trying to say. It's one of his films, and I'm a big fan of his movies. I think that he's a really talented director, and you always know you're going to get a good lot of blood with his films. My only fault with this movie, so this movie is about a psychopathic teacher who goes from one place to the next, basically killing people and setting it up to make it look like either it was an accident or suicide so that he could get away with it. And he's now come to this new school. However, what he does is he goes to the schools or the places wherever he goes and basically makes everybody trust and like him. And then that's when he starts to do what he does. Now, there's a teacher and a student that don't trust him, and they find out about his past, and that's when things kind of go wrong. The first half of this movie was actually quite difficult to watch. It was quite long-winded and a wee bit jumpy, so there was certain things that was happening that I don't know what's going on here. But the end of this movie, so the second half, was very, very good. So on the front cover it says A Cross Between Battle Royale and Confessions. Now, I've never seen Confessions. I have seen it for sale and it does look really good. But obviously I love Battle Royale. It's one of my all-time favourite movies. I definitely can see why they compare it to that at the end when he starts, and I'm not ruining anything for you because it literally tells you pretty much what happens on the back. So at the end and you can see it on the front. He starts killing the kids with a shotgun, and it is bloody. And there's brains and guts and everything flying about everywhere. And characters die who you don't expect to die, and it was just really, really entertaining at the end. I'm glad that I watched it. I don't know if I would watch Lesson of Evil again. I think it's one of those films that once you've seen it once, you're not dying to watch it again, but it was a really, really good movie. I definitely would recommend watching it if you've never seen it before. As I said, I keep saying Third Worms? What on earth? Third Window Films, I should slow down and say that. They're a really great company. Have released some amazing stuff, and obviously by the looks of it, and certainly from watching this one, that's going to keep continuing. I think the very first one that I've seen from them was Tetsuo, or Tetsuo, I can't say it, Tetsuo, you know what I'm talking about. And that one I was like, wow, what am I watching here? My eyeballs are being attacked by this movie, but it was excellent. This one here, I love the end of it. The beginning, as I said, was a little bit slow getting started and a little bit patchy, a little bit jumpy, but the ending, it 100% made up for it. As soon as I realised what the teacher was doing in the school, I sat up, bolt upright, watching the screen, dying to see what happens next, and it didn't disappoint, didn't let up. It was definitely worth watching. So I'm K and L done. I am hoping to get M and N done tonight as well, if my eyeballs can stay open long enough to do it. As I said, I am trying to catch up. I've said M a lot in this video, I'm really sorry. Tired. I'm trying to catch up because I'm very far behind on this Halloween challenge, and I will not be beaten by it. I'm going to make my way through it. I still don't have a why for the challenge. I know a lot of people recommended Yellow Brick Road, but probably a bit late to order it online. I actually thought I'd find it in Missing or Computer Exchange or something, and it wasn't there. So I think I'm going to settle on watching a movie that I already have, and I have found one that begins with Y. But the rest of them are either movies which I've seen, but they were so long ago that I don't really remember much about them, or ones that I've never seen, so I'm looking forward to getting through them all. But as always, hope you're liking these reviews. If there's anything you want to ask about them, I do apologise that I said M so many times and I kept saying Third Window Films, this Third World and Third Worms. That's how you know you've watched too many movies. I added M again! But as always, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and take care. I think I will do the other videos tomorrow once I've had sleep so that I don't keep saying M and saying things wrong. Thanks.